So one of the things that people struggle with is who are we for, right? Most companies are decent at saying what they do, and they're decent at saying how they do it, but they struggle to say who you're for and who they're for. And I think an important takeaway is, and this is why testing is great, there's a lot of ways that you can chop that question. And I actually would recommend, I think a really good example of a company who does this is actually a Beehive. They're an email marketing newsletter company. If you go to Beehive's website and you look at their solutions tab on their website, one of the things that they do is, so here's what I like about what they do. They approach it from a couple different standpoints. First off is they approach it from an objective standpoint. What am I trying to accomplish? That's the first thing. That's actually the rarest. People typically go like vertical industry. They're going by actual output. What am I trying to accomplish? Then they say, who am I? Right? And they allow you to get into that role. And then they go into the standard industry play. I think absolutely test this, find out what works for yourself. But I think that when you think about affinity, one of my mentors, a guy named Pat Campbell, who sold his company for $200 million, he told me something I thought was really interesting, because we were getting into this deep conversation about affinity and like how companies are scared to go too deep and say like, we're the company for SaaS or we're the company for whatever. And he said, the way we thought about it is instead of saying we're the company for SaaS, he said, we're the company for subscriptions. And he said, we like to say subscriptions because now that applies to SaaS. SaaS is subscription, but it also applies to subscription e-commerce. It applies to all sorts of different subscription style products. And so that's part of the thinking process is, yes, you need to build affinity, but go through and test. Is it affinity based on job role? Is it affinity based on industry? Is it affinity based on your output? There can be a lot of differences there.